Oi. Who are you? I'm the Black Guardian, and I want you to kill Harry Davis.
What's in it for me?
£1 million. A bottle of Jack Daniels.
Done.
Good.
20 years in already. 20 fucking years in.
Not long left. Obviously this is my Doctor Who Season 20 review. If you want to see all the other 19 season reviews, click up in the corner now and there'll be a link to every other one of them. So, Arc of Infinity. I liked how Omega returned for his 10th anniversary. This was pretty much 10 years after, because the Three Doctors didn't actually air in November like it probably should have done. It worked really well, and I do love Omega as a villain. It's a shame he didn't show up again. It's weird to see Colin Baker playing someone that isn't the 6th Doctor, because obviously you're so used to having him as the 6th Doctor, and he looks pretty much exactly the same because it's only a couple of years out. The CGI is really good. I'm not sure if this was added after, in the DVD release, it probably was, but either it was good. And the story was just really good overall. I enjoyed every second of it, really. Then we get Snake Dance. It's obviously another sequel, this time it's to Kinda. I do love sequels in Doctor Who, you know, Spearhead from Space and Terror of the Autons, love that. Peladon, the two Peladon ones, Genesis of the Daleks and Destiny of the Daleks. I love any sequel in Doctor Who. I think they always work really well, and this one sort of did as well. It was strange to see Martin Clunes as a younger bloke. Sorry Martin Clunes, I'm sure you're not watching, but he just doesn't look right when he's young. The costumes look like they were made for a pantomime though. I think it's really distracting you from the story when you've got people dressed up in things that you'd wear in like cheap West End musical. And that's what this episode felt. It felt really cheap, especially compared to Kinda. Definitely preferred Kinda. The whole story's alright, but honestly I wouldn't recommend watching this over Kinda. Kinda's miles better. And then we get the Black Guardian trilogy. This is obviously the Black Guardian trying to get his revenge on the Doctor for taking the key to time off him back in season 16. So it's great to see Black Guardian coming back for these 3 stories. First being MAWDRYN Undead. It was lovely to see the Brigadier back. I think Nicholas Courtney is a great actor. He hasn't been seen since Terror of the Zygons, so it's great to see him back. I think he's a fantastic character. The Black Guardian's costume is bloody awful. Another fucking story, twice in a row where we've got pantomime-like outfits. It's great that the same actor returned to play the Black Guardian after the key to time. Really don't understand why everyone assumed that MAWDRYN was the Doctor. I was sat there and I was just like, what? Why? Why would you assume that? He looks nothing like Peter Davison, and even if he's regenerated, why would he regenerate into something that looks like that? It's just the stupid thing that these characters could think about. It was a fantastic story though. This is probably in my top 10 actually. It's definitely a fantastic story. It's so underrated. I think in the Doctor Who magazine thing in 2014, it's rated like 100 and something. It's like, what? It's fantastic. The middle story of that, Terminus, not so good. It was the first time Roundels was sort of given the names, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was the first time. It's the first time that I've noticed it anyway. It was very difficult to follow at times. I thought there was too many storylines going on in this. You had the storyline of the Black Guardian trying to get Turlough to kill the Doctor. Then you've got another storyline of there's this virus going around. And then you've got another storyline which I can't even fucking remember. So that stuck with me, didn't it? And it was very sad to say goodbye to Nissa at the end. I think she's probably one of my favourite companions of the 80s. So she's very underrated as well as a character. Enlightenment. This is a story that I've never liked at all. This has always been at the bottom of my list. I suppose it's a bit like Creature from the Pit for me. I remember fucking hating it, and I think the reason, because I hated it, I've gone into it watching it again with very low expectations and realised that it's actually not that bad, because it's not as bad as I thought it was. So I now think it's a really good story, so it's definitely grown on me. I'm glad I watched it again, and I think it's really worth a watch if you haven't watched it before. It's really creepy, and it's like the final showdown with the Black Guardian and the White Guardian and the Doctor's like stuck in between, and it's really fun. But it is a shame that the Black Guardian hasn't returned since. The King's Demons. This is obviously the last proper story of the season. It's obvious the Master would show up, everyone knows that. I love the way he revealed himself. It's never going to get old. He always says something like, "My dear Doctor, or some.
Fucking hell.
He always says something like that, and I think it's just Anthony Ainley's master for you. Whenever he shows up, it'll show off that he is the master right at the end, and then it goes, "My dear Doctor," and then it'll go to the credits. I really like it. It's never going to get old, I don't think. They should do that more in New Doctor Who. Chameleon just looks so awkward. I know he was difficult to work with on set, and that's why he didn't really show up much, but it's just the way the eyes were moving and the head was moving. It just looked so complicated. But it's a really good story. It's really well paced. I enjoyed it. I'm glad, again, they didn't drag it out to 4 parts. They didn't need to. They kept it to 2 parts. It was really good. And then we get the 20th anniversary special. I'm counting this as season 20 because it aired in the same year as season 20, and otherwise season 20 would be a story down. And it's clear that they used half of the budget of season 20 on this story. They used the pre-title sequence, that speech that the First Doctor did at the end of Dalek Invasion of Earth. I didn't really mind it. I didn't think it was necessary, but I didn't mind it. I love the new TARDIS console. It's just the way, I mean, that's just the definitive 80s console. Richard Handel, I mean, God bless the BBC for trying to bring back the First Doctor, but Richard Handel really wasn't the best candidate for that, I don't think. He just didn't seem enough like William Hartnell, I don't think. There was something about his performance, it was just like, it's not William Hartnell. It's lovely to see back all the old characters, Sarah Jane, K9, Jamie, Zoe, Sergeant Benton. No, it wasn't Benton, was it? It was Yates. And Liz Shaw. It was lovely seeing them all back. And it was also lovely to see Charlton and Pertwee back. But one thing I didn't quite understand was their timelines. I know there's that whole thing of season 6B going around, but the fans shouldn't have to come up with those theories. Things like that should be explained. But it is a shame Tom didn't return. I know there was reasons backstage as to why he didn't return, you know, he had disagreements with John Nathan Turner and all that shit. But it was a shame, and obviously the whole thing of tips from Sharda being used in this means Sharda isn't canon at all now. Another plot hole is how, in God's name, did Susan know who the Cybermen were? I think that quote of easy as pie.
Pi, pi, mathematical pi, 3.14159265
has gone down in Doctor Who history. I think everyone knows what story that saying is from. It was a really good story. I really enjoyed every second of it, really. It was a bit silly, and obviously there was a lot of plot holes, but it was nice to see all these things coming back together for the 20th anniversary. It was very good. I really did enjoy it. And that's the season in a nutshell. That is season 20 done. I really did enjoy this season. It's probably one of the best of the 80s. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, leave it a like. If you didn't, leave it a like. But anyway, don't forget to leave a like on the video. That definitely wasn't stolen from. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. What the fuck was that? Yeah, mate. Hello, Harry.